Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. We got the day right. This is nice. How are we all doing? Do you know what? I'm going to ask this just because I feel like I should do. How is the audio? Is it good? It should be good. It's been good for a week. We've fixed all our issues by getting rid of OBS and all of the other stuff that was in there, but I'm assuming it's okay. It's nice. Do you know what? I'm going to test it. It's nice. Do you know what? Sounds good. Nice. Now then, babe, I'll read.
Morning.
You absolutely got strangled to death by Discord then. We had a goo, goo,
Oh,
goo, good morning. So
that's
yeah,
a shame. That's a real shame.
Just as we were talking about crisp audio, Discord goes, nope, you ain't got that. How are we all doing though? Welcome in to the stream. Good morning. Happy Monday, start of a new week. How are we all doing? If you had a good weekend, if you're in the chat, please feel free to say hello. And if you're in the chat, please feel free to hit retweet on that, because that is the tweet for today's show, just to let everyone know that we are live. If you can just go hit retweet on that, then people will know that we are live. Anyway, how are we all doing? Before I start off the show, actually no, I'll wait on that for just a second. I'll do it as the I was going to mention something. You may have seen the images. Let me just do a tease. Ooh, rustling noise. You may have seen the images that we posted on social media yesterday, but I'll talk about that in just a few seconds, because if you are new here, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on demand on YouTube, my name is Graham. This guy who's actually, I've entered him with my finger, and it's exactly how it sounds. There you go. This is the man that we've called Bibby, and we are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. It's 10:11:07. We were sat here at 10 a.m. ish though, but we've been talking and doing wiki bits and stuff. I even saw West drop into the chat and said it's 10 a.m. ish. To which I responded, but he had already buggered off. He just dropped in just for the clickbait. He screenshotted it and disappeared, but I still have it there on my screen. I saw you. I went, I see you.
It's wallpaper now.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. As I mentioned, we do go live at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday. We do have a specific emote for the ish reasons we work in the games industry. And we stream around the real job. So when we do stream, it's nice, it's fun, but it's not necessarily according to the little hands on the clock. So we say 10 a.m. Sometimes it's a little bit ish. Some days it's a little bit more ish than others. So today it's 8 minutes past 11, so it's 10 a.m. ish. Anyway, we do go live on Twitch 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved with us on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand. And when I say on demand, this live stream gets turned into a podcast, a YouTube video and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So if you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone else watching on demand. Nice. Before we start the show, though, I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, ! loot drop. If you're in the chat, someone want to type that would be extremely lovely, because we are giving away a choice of 3 games later this month. Every month, we give something away to one subscriber. It's a way that we say thank you to everyone that does support the channel with subscriptions. So we give... what was last month's game? It was Resident Evil Village, which Bibby just finished over the weekend, coincidentally. So we gave away Resident Evil Village last week to Cameron, who received his copy on Saturday, so GG's. Next month, we will be giving away a game, a choice of 3. I'm not even going to try remember all 3 of them. The link in the chat will give you the details if someone has typed ! Loot drop, as well as ! Loot drop. Reminder that this Wednesday evening, 6 p.m, twitch.tv/official insert coin, so not our channel, on the insert coin channel, myself and Bib will be guest streaming on insert coin. And that brings me to these. Let me just first off show the with compliments insert coin. So shout out to insert coin, who have given me a PlayStation hoodie, and instead of a PlayStation hoodie, they've also given me a PlayStation hoodie. Hey! So Bibby got kitted out ahead of the last stream. He got himself some new Elder Scrolls merch. They've kitted me out this time with some new PlayStation merch. And just to add a little bit of balance as well, this isn't insert coin merch. This is just Tesco special. But I'm wearing an Xbox t-shirt because I want people to know that it's not just about PlayStation. So I'm wearing an Xbox t-shirt today. So there you go. But shout out to insert coin, ! Insert coin, if you want to treat yourself to any PlayStation and or other branded themed goodies over on official insert coin, and you can get 20% off your first order using our discount code. We don't get any money on that, but you do. Save. Nice. Lovely. Anyway, Bib, Mr. Resident Evil himself.
Yes,
You finished the game?
I did on Saturday afternoon.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's a 6 for me. I
No,
know a
it
lot
was
of
8, not 6. It was 6 was two games back. Silly.
well, yeah, you could put it in the same category. I know a lot of people who have reviewed it have given it higher scores. A lot of 9s coming out there. You know what? That's absolutely fine because every single person who plays that game has a different feeling going into it. My feeling was that I do not want to play any more demos because I feel like they've shown too much off in all of the trailers. So I played the Maiden demo, which we put up on YouTube, which was the first one, so you could have a look around the castle. Very briefly, it was probably a 10 to 15-minute demo, if that. So yeah, I did that, and then I played the game, and the first 4 hours of that game is fantastic. It's basically just building off of what was Resident Evil 7 and how they kind of brought back the survival horror and the atmospheric corridors, shall we say? I mean, yeah,
Stuff.
yeah. The environments that you was in for Resident Evil 7 was fantastic. I absolutely like everything just felt terrifying. And then Resident Evil 8, the first 4 hours were brilliant. The first two places that you go to are fantastic. It sets the scene, albeit there is some super corny bits. I'm being as vague as I can because I know there's still people. The game's only been out like 4 days, so I'm trying to be as vague as possible. Maybe it's something because I was speaking to Asim. In fact, he's in the chat now. I was speaking to him about it last night, so it may be towards the end of the week. Me and him get together and we speak about our experiences because believe me, they are both completely different. We agreed on some things and disagreed with quite a lot of it. So it would be nice to have that kind of contrasting opinion. But for me, it's a 6. My expectations were. I usually set my expectations before I play a game, and because I'd not seen any of the trailers, because I felt that they started to show a little bit too much off, there was kind of the middle ground. And after getting through the first 4 hours, I thought it was fantastic. I thought, here we go, this is it. This is more of the same thing, and then it just doesn't go anywhere, in my opinion. It just some of the boss battles, I'm thinking, fucking hell, where have they pulled this from? It's literally like they just pulled stuff out of a bag. Yeah, especially the Heisenberg boss, like that is so bad. Like I know Resident Evil's meant to be cheesy, and it felt like it was going the way of the movies. It felt like they'd just taken all the stuff that Paul Anderson had done with the films and started to implement it towards the end because they kind of ran out of ideas. And that for me is a complete step in the. It was 2 steps forward with the Resident Evil 7 and like the first couple of hours of this, and then it was like 6 steps back. It wasn't the kind of story that I was expecting. And it doesn't you don't know more about Ethan. Like you've played 2 full games with him and you still don't know much about him. You still don't know much about Mia. And these are the characters of the game. Like they're the main people that you're playing with and you're playing through their storyline. You still don't know that much about them. So yeah, I mean, I'm playing through it again now on hardcore, and I started it last night. And by God, if anyone started Resident Evil on whatever difficulty, the first Lycan riot battle thing at the beginning, where they're all coming from here, there, and everywhere, that is tough on hardcore. That is so bad. And I'm so thick that I bought an infinite ammo weapon on a weapon that I don't even own. So I bought the assault rifle, and it's fucking Chris's. So I don't get to use it until towards the end when you get 7 billion pieces of ammo anyway. So I'm having to start again with just a pistol and weapons I don't even have bullets for. So
I watched you towards the end, and you was like going up to the dealer, the trader kind of guy, the big bloke, and I watched you buy an attachment for him. And it was like 100 grand or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. And I remember you going, "It's not even the right gun." I was just sat there pissing. He's like, "Fuck's sake! I'm mad at myself. I always do shit like this."
Well, I sold that piece as well for like half the price to try and get some more money. I'm so stupid, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of elements of that game that I really did enjoy going through, and so the Duke is possibly one of the best characters in that game, and we don't even know why he's there. Like, what is he there for? Genuinely have no idea. But he's very witty. And what he offers you, very similar to Resident Evil 4. He can cook you up some food. He can sell you some stuff. Is a very good merchant, shall we say. And I really enjoyed his part of the story, albeit very small. I mean, the place that he turned up in, you just think, how did this big boy get from there to there? But yeah, there's a lot of things that are crossed us. And like Asim just said, we did agree and we did disagree. You know what? That's fine because Bibby's right.
That's not what it says.
Asim says it's an 8 from him, but yeah, it might be good to have a chat anyways. He's up for it. So that could be something that we end up doing towards the end of the week. It gives a lot of people time to be able to finish it. And then we can all have a discussion about it. I think that's probably the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, I have only played one and a bit Resident Evil games, and that was Bibby's Influence. And I think Bibby's Influence has put
And you
me
played
off.
the best one.
Yeah, well, that's what I can say. Bibby's Influence has also put me off playing this game. I did watch most of it on stream, which was quite funny because the first part on Friday, or was it Thursday? When did it come out? Thursday or Friday?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday. The first part on Thursday, I was sat working on a deck. So I'm sat there looking at this screen, got Bibby on this screen, typing away. And then like I'm thinking, oh, this sounds good. This sounds good. This Bibby's having time of his life. He's got werewolves. He's lurking around in long grass. He's trying to figure shit out. This is good, yeah. And then I kind of like jumped in and out of the second part, and then the third part, which was Saturday. It was funny because Bibby had gone from being like his eyes were full of wonder for the world of Resident Evil to what the fuck is this? And the longer it went on, the more it kind of like became what. But anyway, that's enough of that.
There's one bit in particular.
Oh, I'm gonna. Is it
that sent me under?
Is it spoilers or?
And it's not even part of the storyline because it's just too cheesy. It's genuinely just too cheesy. Right at the very beginning, I don't know if I can say it, but I mean to be fair, a lot of the people who's in the chat was probably watching it anyway. But I'll tell you what, if anyone's listening to this on any kind of demand service, I'll say something now in the next 5 seconds. Just skip forward 10 seconds. Because I'm fairly certain the people in the chat will know exactly what it is I'm going to be talking about. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nathan's hand gets chopped off and he puts it back on again with some sort of fucking Lucozade bottle. I know it's meant to be it's meant to be a herb bottle, but he's got his hand in his other hand, pours it on, then just puts it on top. I mean, obviously, it's meant to have contain some kind of mold or whatever. But yeah, it's far and beyond what Resident Evil should be, really. But hey ho, cheesy, corny Resident Evil.
Fun times. Asim says, hands up, that was bad. I agree on that. So there you go. Anyway, spoilers over. We'll stop talking about Resident Evil. If you do play the game, please let us know what you guys think. Obviously, we want to know. But if you aren't going to play the game, then you can always go back and watch our VOD. If you're not interested in Resident Evil, you want to see it anyway, then Bibby's full playthrough is available back in the VODs on this channel.
I'm going to put it on YouTube as well.
Nice.
I'll probably cut it up into like hour-long segments at some point. Probably do that at some point this week because I love watching long playthroughs, but for people who probably don't want to watch it or are interested in it, it's a bit intimidating in it having a 9-hour playthrough there.
Yeah, just a tad. I mean, saying that. Speaking of mega hours playthroughs, I've got like 12 hours, 13 hours of The Last of Us Part 1 playthrough, edited and highlighted on Twitch that we never actually moved over to YouTube because I was like, I'll wait on that one. And then 12 months later, it was almost like a year ago that we actually played through that on Twitch. Yikes.
Extra content for the channel.
Well,
I mean, that's stuff's long. The Last of Us will be relevant in 15 years, so that's fine. Resident Evil 8 is definitely going to be one that falls by the wayside.
Yeah, for sure. I would tell you about what games I played in the weekend, but I didn't play any. Instead, I watched TV. I watched the Without Remorse film, which has a tie-in to video games. If anybody's a Rainbow Six fan, it's a Tom Clancy film. Ooh. It ties into that. I won't say anymore.
Is it the Michael B. Jordan one?
Yeah. It was on.
Seen that advertised. I haven't watched it yet though.
It was on 2.5 out of 5. Rating when I watched it on Amazon, and the history of it is it was like a big, I think Universal or Warner Brothers, whatever it was, studio had bought the rights to this film. They'd signed Michael B. Jordan on for at least 2 films, and then the pandemic hit. The film was filmed like 2018, 2019 kind of thing. It was supposed to come to the theaters, didn't come to the theaters. Amazon eventually bought it, put it out, and it's on 2.5 out of 5, so it didn't do very well. So they might not make the second film, but it tees up stuff. Nice. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's the gist.
What you're saying is we have to watch it for us to potentially get a sequel. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't buy it when it's full fucking price, then do you really support video games? Movies ish.
Nice.
That, by the way, if you're new here, that was a reference to the guy that made not State of Decay. What's it called?
Days Gone.
Days Gone. There you go. Nice. NX with a 13-month sub. Stay frosty, yeah. Thank you for that. Basically, what NX is saying is shut up and get on with the show. Okay, we know we're here to talk about video games, which is what we're doing. Just had a bit of a chat about Resident Evil, had a bit of a chat about that. Also, actually, before I do, talking about writing, I watched Bodyguard. Not The Bodyguard, but Bodyguard, which was a BBC TV series from 2018 starring, is it Rob McFadden? Richard McFadden? I can't remember his name. Guy that's famous for Game of Thrones, Bastille Day, playing a character in Castlevania Lord of Shadows games. Anyway, he was in it. It was written by Jed Mercurio, who wrote Line of Duty. And if you watched Line of Duty and you thought, well, that was a bit of a shit ending, then watch that instead, because the way Bodyguard finished was chef's kiss. It was fucking incredible. It caught me. I mean, a lot of things I don't like because I see it coming, and I saw a lot of stuff in that coming, but something I didn't, which was good. So yeah, definitely worth a watch if you've not seen it. It's on Netflix. Fill your boots. Anyway, jumping into the chat, West was here nice and early. He says it's 10-ish. You goddamn right it is. Enix Lake, Return of the Mac. Good morning, you all beautiful people. Gary Clark is in the chat. Gagad is here. Chucky is here. Still beautiful to come into crisp audio, says Return of the Mac. Yeah. Nice. The thing is, though, now I've figured it out, and basically I was being too creative and lazy at the same time. So I put more effort in to not having to put effort in. So I wanted my mic to be auto-muted on certain scenes and so on, which meant that if I ever wanted to use anything like voice mods or whatever like that, it was just a bit of a chore. So getting rid of all that means I can start to use things like voice mods and stuff now. I mean, I'm not yet, and I don't have any plans to right now, but one day soon you might be just turning into the stream and I'm going to be like full-on Thanos voice. Yeah. So yeah, nice audio. Bibbs is cutting out. Yeah, exactly. Bibbs' audio made him sound like a pigeon. No, that's just Bibbs' audio. It's not. That's just literal audio. Chat's moving. Where did it go to? Just for you guys, done and done. Thank you for the retweets, everyone that retweeted the Going Live tweet. We appreciate you. Everyone in the chat, hey, how are you doing? Same G, I was going to buy it, Resi that is, but now I've seen Bibby playing it. I don't really need to. There you go. It's all part of the service. Mr. Johnny PSM says, morning all. How's things? How did the first, was the first streamed part of your Master League? It was on Friday, right? Because I watched your first video on Friday, about 40 minutes-ish before you went live. And I was like thinking about tuning into the live stream, but we were already kind of committed to watching the film that was just talking about that Without Remorse, so we watched that instead. And I refuse to follow you on Twitch until you are live. So I keep missing you. You know, I'm gonna drop a follow. Fuck it. Fine. Can't figure out how to do it here. Never mind, I'll do it shortly. I'm in OBS, that's why. Extra sticky, steady, says Mr. T. Okay, I think we got nice. What sort of noise gate are you using, if at all? At the moment, I am not. I just can't figure out noise gates. So, for those that don't know what a noise gate is basically when you talk, all of the noise in the room comes into the microphone. But when you stop, when your voice drops below a level, your mic cuts off. So if you've got like a fan in the background, rather than that being constantly there, the noise gate cuts it off. Anything below your voice level, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So I either have it so that I'm talking, it's like it'd be like, and it's a solid hard cut, which I just think sounds more jarring than having the background noise. So instead, what I do is put the mic really close to my mouth and have very low gain, and hopefully it doesn't pick up the background noise. Why were you asking? Does it sound like it's really bad? Do I need a voice gate? Is that what you're saying? I tried using NVIDIA RTX Voice and it did some weird stuff. No, I agree. RTX Voice is wonderful. It's an exceptional piece of hardware, providing that you are talking and not getting excited. And myself and Bibby has quite... Bibby's voice versus Bibby's laugh are two different things. And my voice versus me playing any game that requires emotion is also two different things as well. So quite often when we'd have RTX Voice on, it worked perfectly. Get rid of the background until you get excited. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'd scream like, but rather than that you get... And I'd be just there, like, hands up in the air, making noises that you can't hear because RTX is going, that's not a real person. Let's squash that. So, yeah, RTX Voice is good. it probably can be tinkered better than I did it with it. Anyway, sorry, I will stop talking about the things in the chat and let's talk about the things on the screen. When I say on the screen, they're not there yet, but they will be in just a few seconds. If you haven't seen it already, the headline story is clickbait to the hills. It's not really, because it's actually factual information taken from the Apple versus Epic court case. And you know what? We've said last week, this court case has been exceptional at unearthing not just tidbits, but stats, actual monetary deals, number of subscribed users, and all that sort of information that brands usually keep quiet about. Well, we're getting a lot of that information, and this one is possibly the tastiest of the lot. When you just take the headline, I haven't been through the rest of the story, so we're gonna go through this together. But the headline alone is exciting. Epic Games offered a $200 million deal to Sony for up to 6 PC PlayStation ports. This is written by Andy Robinson at VGC, and the tagline says, "But Nintendo talks a non-starter, a leaked document suggests." So Epic Games offered a $200 million minimum guarantee to Sony for 4 to 6 PC PlayStation ports. That's according to a confidential PDF document included in the ongoing Epic Apple trial, which was reportedly briefly uploaded to the case's public server and shared on Reset Era. According to the document, Epic Games was at one point targeting all 3 console platform holders for potential content deals for its PC game store. Excuse me. The document states that Nintendo talks were essentially a non-starter, while opening discussions with Microsoft were complicated by the fact it was essentially a competitor for content deals and that its PC Game Pass leader was against Epic's strategy. On PlayStation, the doc states that Epic was awaiting feedback on its $200 million minimum guarantee offer for 4 to 6 games, which would see Epic take the hit should those titles generate less revenue than that figure. Since Sony's first PC port, Horizon Zero Dawn, debuted on Steam, and its next, Days Gone, is also coming to Valve's platform, it's possible the company did not take up Epic's offer. In a corporate report published last summer, Sony first said it would explore bringing more PlayStation exclusives to PC following Horizon Zero Dawn's release on the platform. Then, earlier this year, Sony Interactive Entertainment's president confirmed PlayStation will bring, quote, a whole slate of games to PC, starting with a Days Gone port set to release later this month. Speaking to GQ, SIE boss Jim Ryan said that the opportunity to bring PlayStation's IPs to a wider audience, as well as an easier port process, meant that making more games for PC was now a fairly straightforward decision for the company. Asked why SIE is now embracing PC, whereas before it was hesitant to bring its games to the platform, Ryan said, "I think a few things changed." Quote, "We find ourselves now in early 2021 with our development studios and the games that they make in better shape than they've ever been before, particularly from the latter half of the PS4 cycle. Our studios made some wonderful, great games. There's an opportunity to expose those great games to a wider audience and recognize the economics of game development, which are not always straightforward. The cost of making games goes up with each cycle, as does the caliber of the IP. The cost of making games goes up with each cycle as the caliber of the IP has improved. Also, our ease of making it available to non-console owners has grown, so it's a fairly straightforward decision for us to make. PlayStation had a strong start with its first modern PC release, with Horizon Zero Dawn selling 716,000 copies digitally during its August release month, according to Nielsen's Super Data. According to another document released as part of the Epic Apple case, Epic Games spent nearly $12 million securing games for its regular free game giveaways during a 9-month period. Whew, pretty tasty story to begin with. Obviously, may not be happening now, but there's ongoing conversations, and with everything that's happening between Epic and Sony recently, has anyone noticed the fact that Sony gave, what was it $200 million to Epic as a low level investment, or 20 million or whatever it was? I mean, it's an interesting figure. The fact that it's the exact same sum that's discussed here, I don't know. But anyway, recently Sony has invested in Epic, but before that, Epic wanted to invest in Sony. They wanted to put $200 million into Sony to get their games onto their platforms. But what are your thoughts?
Do you think this is a low offer?
Do I think this is a low offer? Actually, let me just put this on screen first, just so I can hide the fact that I'm going to kick Bib. Boop. and then bring him back in, hopefully without a delay. Nice.
Hello, Shaggers. I don't like it when
Hello.
G shaves.
Hello, Shaggers. I don't like it when G shaves. Mr. Number One Pirate, thank you very much. I'm not clean shaven, although I am more clean shaven than I have been for a long, long time. Usually when I shave, absolute tangent. But you're subbed, so you get your tangent. It's fine. When I shave, usually I shave on a half, whereas today I shaved on a 0. So there is still facial hair there, just less. So yeah, good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for supporting us as well, Mr. Number One Pirate. Anyone that subs at any amount of time is incredible, but for 19 months, that is ridiculous. Thank you very much. A year and a half and a bit. That's ridiculous. Thank you very much, Pirate. What a guy. So the question Bibby asked was, do I think that's a low amount of money? I don't know. Probably not. And the reason I say probably not is because EA got 63 grand for was it EA? Who owns For Honor? Is that EA or Ubisoft? I don't know which one.
Ubisoft.
There you go. $63,000, where they're talking 200 million. So not 1 million, but 200 million. They just got 63k. So
Well, let me put this to you a different way then. The reason I asked that is because I'm not very good at maths, but I probably say it's about £32 million per game. If it was 6 games. If it was 6 games that they was being ported over, that's £32 million a game.
33.3 million recurring.
Right.
Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, quick maths. So do you think then, if they would have paid £200 million for one game, if they was to bring The Last of Us over to the Epic Game Store, would they make that money back and more? Because don't forget, this has been put onto 114 million PlayStation consoles, regardless of whether on a PlayStation 4 console, right? Last of Us, PlayStation 3 game, ported over to the PlayStation 4, and now inevitably it's going to be on the PlayStation 5 as well. So this is a series that's had so much money been put through it. I'd like to know how many millions of copies that they've sold and how much money they've made, but that's to 140 million. This is being opened now to nearly everybody. So people who have an Xbox that had never even had a PlayStation that have missed out on it, and people who are PC gamers that have never had a console. This has now been opened up to a wider audience. Do you think that they'd make more than £33.3 million back on just that one game?
Possibly. But I'm not convinced. I could see it be another lost leader. A lot of this stuff. So I've just opened up this from last week. If you didn't see this last week, let me just bring this back up. So this is the Epic Games Store free games and how much it costs. So Subnautica cost them $1.4 million, and they got a user acquisition cost of $1.74 from it. Meanwhile, other games like Super Meat Boy cost them 50 grand, and it cost them 50 cents for acquisition costs. $1.4 million is the most expensive. Actually, tell a lie, Batman Arkham cost $1.5 million. So if we are talking about the PlayStation games being 30 plus, that's like 20 times the cost of Batman Arkham. Do I think they're going to make profit on that? Probably not. But I don't think that's what it would be for. I think they would. Let me open this back up again. This column is the key column here. So actually, I'm saying it. You can't even see what I've got no cursor on screen. So this column is the price. This column is the key column. The Epic UA cost, the user acquisition cost. That's the key thing. You go down to City of Brass. The user acquisition costs for that are $6 per user, down to Celeste, $12 per user. Obviously, they're happy to pay some high costs for users. If they're spending 30 million on a game, then their user acquisition costs are going to be incredibly higher. Mm-hmm. However, those titles are they are console sellers. So if The Last of Us is strong enough to sell a $400 console, then surely it's enough to get someone to sign up to the Epic Games Store and then maybe spend a few extra quid elsewhere, potentially. That said, the flip side is, if those people have spent 400 quid on a console, are they likely to go and sign up to the Epic Games Store and start spending money there when they've just got themselves their Last of Us PS4 Pro like Last of Us 2 edition kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of money. Definitely a lot of money. And I genuinely think at that sort of price, if Batman Arkham is $1.5 million, if you had all of that list up, this has the likes of Subnautica, Super Meat Boy, try to pick out some bigger names, Overcooked, which is a quality game, by the way, Alan Wake, Mutant Year Zero, Fez, Batman Arkham, Lego Batman, Metro Redux. All of those games have been purchased cumulatively, plus a shitload more that I didn't mention, for 11.6 million. Each individual game at 30 to 33 million is going to be huge cost. So yeah, I can't see them getting their money back on that, but it's all about the long game, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that I was just talking about The Last of Us, but we're forgetting about games like Spider-Man, which a lot of people probably haven't been able to. God of War. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn's obviously moved over there now, and they've got a new Horizon game coming out later on this year. But Ratchet and Clank, all of these games, MLB's obviously moved over to the Xbox now, so you can play it over there. But there's still a lot of games that people never would have been able to get their hands on if they are a fanboy of other consoles or couldn't afford to have both. So I think if you was to put a £30 million price tag on each of the games, I think a couple of them you probably would make your money back, and the other ones would just be loss leaders. But as an absolute entity of trying to get them through, like you say, with the likes of Batman, it's a high profile game. It's an old game, but it brought a lot of people in to be able to go and sign up and create an account or put that game to the library, and then they'll go on and spend money. I think those games would generate a lot more for them.
No, I agree. Excuse me, I've got something in the throat. Muting.
Graham's choking on his words. This is a first, ladies and gentlemen.
You goddamn right. What do you guys think, though? What do you guys think? Do you think 200 million? Do you think that's smart money? Tito says, I still maintain free games on the Epic Store. Don't transfer it into people buying games. I've downloaded numerous games on Epic. Never bought one from there, and it would be my last option if I was thinking of buying a game. NX says, Epic is such a bad store. Yeah, the free games, but out of that doesn't offer anything in the ecosystem. Return of the Mac agrees with Tito. He says, agreed, if the game is decent, I'll get the free game. Most I haven't played yet. I just get to have and most likely won't buy from Epic. Interesting. I mean, do you know what? I love the idea of buying games from the Epic Game Store because the ethos of giving me free games, I mean, that's a good ethos. Give me all the free things. I fucking love free shit. Yes, please. However, do you know what? I can't argue with those points because how much have I spent on the Epic Game Store? Let me just count it on one hand. There you go. I've just counted it on one hand. Nothing. I've not spent a single penny on the Epic Game Store. But I have probably 50 games, or at least over 20, maybe over 30, possibly 50 games for free. I have played some of them. I've played, maybe we're playing Star Wars Battlefront. I've played some other games, I can't even remember what now, in the past. But I haven't spent a penny, so yeah. That said, though, it's the long game. It's that install base. If I have the Epic Game Store client installed on my PC, if I have a library of games that are there, the idea is it's that sort of what was the phrase? Trojan horse marketing sort of stuff. They slide the Trojan horse inside. You don't even realize that what they're doing is building up your affinity with the Epic Game Store. You've got it there, you've got it installed. You've got Star Wars Battlefront there installed. You've got Super Meat Boy or whatever else installed. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, I'm not going to play those games, but I've got some stuff there. And then eventually, when they drop their mic drop moment, yeah, obviously Fortnite isn't necessarily the game that's going to push a lot of people into it. It does push a lot of people into it. But when they drop their next Fortnite, then that's meant to be, okay, we have all these dormant users that have accounts already. Because that's quite a barrier for a lot of people, creating a new account. Not just downloading the client and installing it, but then creating an account. I can't be arsed with this shit. I'm just going to fucking get it on my PlayStation or Steam or whatever. But when people already have that stuff already, them throwing Subnautica at you, them throwing Batman Arkham at you, them throwing GTA last year at you, it's there to get you to just download it and just get it installed. So when they drop their USP, their game that you can't get anywhere else, That's a lot of barriers already broken down. It's a lot. It's a lot of money to throw at it. I mean, it didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet, anyway. Not that it will happen. Not that it won't happen. We don't know. But that's a lot of money that shows that they see user acquisition in today's day and age one of the most costly things, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, how many things are out there that are fighting for your attention? Spotify, Netflix, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Nintendo Switch, your TV, all these other things, just having your phone in general, Apple Arcade, the Google Play Store. Me and Bib, we're fighting for your attention so you don't go out and play games and stuff like that. A lot of things are fighting for your attention, but once you acquire those users, that is the hardest part, creating an audience. Once you've got an audience, it's much easier. It's easier to maintain an audience than it is to create an audience. So that's why they're putting a shitload of money into it. Still, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I've probably spent maybe about £100 over at the Epic Game Store over the years, and that is usually when you buy one game, you'll get a 30% voucher for the next one, or you'll get the next game for a £5, and then it just keeps, every time you buy a new game, it just keeps you in the loop, and the voucher will last like 20 days or something like that. So I've bought games off of there.
Yeah, baby, two
games
Lambos.
that were well, the games are meant to be like 40 quid, and I end up getting it for £15, and then the next game that I go to get is another £40, and then I get it for £15. Like, it's easy to be able to spend your money that way, especially with games that you probably never played before, always wanted to play, or just able to have it on a different system because it was better than my PlayStation 4, because my PC was better than my PlayStation 4. Do you know what I mean? So you're playing it in a different resolution. It might be a game that I can mod on my PC but couldn't mod on my PlayStation, on my PC but couldn't mod on my PlayStation. The different variables, but I don't think I've ever bought a game off there for full price. It's always been when it's in the sale, or they have a voucher redemption journey. So like I said, you buy one game, you get 45% off your next one. You buy a game, then you get 60% off your next one. Epic are very good at giving away stuff like that, as well as giving away games. They always seem to have a sale or deal on at some point.
Yeah, the interesting thing is how they transition for that. That's so my issue isn't the fact that they're giving me free games. My issue isn't the fact that they're charging a fortune to get the users, because they can amortize that cost with Unreal Engine. Unreal developers, if they make money on it, they pay money back into Epic. And the fact that Epic have used their successes with the likes of Fortnite to create white label lobby software, white label cross-platform software, white label party chat, cross-platform party chat software, and so on. They've put those into the likes of Rocket League and into the likes of Fortnite, which have proved concept. So if you're an indie developer, you use these games, you're going to use that stuff because it's all there. It's been pre-built. You start making a shitload of money with these games, you put money back into Epic. Plus Fortnite churns money, and Rocket League does a decent amount, I'd imagine, too. Also, Fall Guys, I mean, they're probably going to be making money at Mediatonic stuff. So Epic definitely has money coming in, and they can amortize those costs. That's fine for now. But my issue is down the line. How does that transition? Because if you have a user base of people that are used to picking things up for free, not all of them. I mean, some of them will spending money. Bibby is spending money. A lot of them probably aren't spending money. And it's hard to change that behavior in people. So they will have there's the phrase cash whales. So every game will have some people that spend $10,000 a year, and then most people spend about £6 kind of thing. Those are your cash whales, and that's nothing new as a buying strategy for businesses to kind of like work with. But I imagine that will be not heavily dependent, but there will be a bigger sway towards that with the Epic Games Store, because most people have been brought into it, not built on playing a specific game or getting into a specific lobby with their friends on that specific platform. It will be a case of GTA 5 free on PC. Okay, yeah, well, that's got me involved. Nice. So changing people out of that free mindset into, okay, here's our new game. It's Fortnite 2 or whatever it is. And everyone's like, I want to fucking play Fortnite 2. Yeah. Yeah, it's £50. And your discount vouchers don't work with it this time. My voucher, I've used a voucher like domino effect for the last 3 years. now why is this costing me 45, 55, 65 quid? And the issue for me is, I mean, it might work perfectly. There might not be an issue, but I could see that being a difficulty in terms of if they tried to transition into being a high end product as opposed to like the free everybody's welcome product. Not that they will do, but if they tried to do that transition, it's going to be more difficult than I think most brands have ever had. We'll see how it goes. Asim says they'll have data to show that it does convert a certain percentage to paying users. I imagine if 1 million or so come in for something like GTA 5, if they keep even 5 to 10% as paying users and higher percentage as regular users, enough for them. As you said, long term. I also haven't purchased on Epic outside free games, but many probably have. Yeah, for sure. I mean that's where the UA is important. That UA cost. They will have an idea that every user might be. So they gave the costs of, some of them cost 50 cents, some of them cost $12. It costs $12 to get a user for that game. But then if every user on average spread across the whole landscape is £4, it costs £4 to get a user. That's because if you add me, and it cost me £4 and I put nothing in. You add Bibby and he puts 20 quid in, and then a bunch of other people that put nothing in. If you get 5 users that put nothing in, but Bibby puts 20 quid in, that averages out at £4. Jobs are good. So it's just a case of, does that balance long term? Obviously, anyway, they're getting massively in depth. We don't need to go that level of detail, but it's good to know. And it's another thing from the Epic versus Apple case that we get to see. The Epic Games Store offered $200 million to Sony. Doesn't seem like that happened. I mean, just final point of this, doesn't seem like that happened because Days Gone is coming to Steam, and is it coming to Epic too? It's coming to PC anyway. That's what we know. And Horizon Zero Dawn also on Steam. But interestingly, Sony has invested back into Epic Games. So, like, is the conversation dead? Will Epic start to get them first? I mean, I don't feel like this conversation is a conversation of the past. Even if it didn't happen, I still feel like it's a conversation that could happen again. So we'll keep our eyes on that and see if it changes going forward. But let's not dwell on Sony stories for too long. Let's move forward into this story, which talks about Sony. Hey, Sony has patented a technology that launches games via streams. This is written by VASPAAN, DASTOOR at The Gamer, and the tagline says, Sony's latest patent may allow you to launch a game directly from a stream. So the long list of Sony patents has grown a bit longer after certified game assistants, an AI that plays your games for you, and the like button. The company has now patented a technology that can launch gameplay directly via streams on PlayStation consoles. Streaming is undoubtedly a huge part of gaming, says twitch.tv/icecreamuploads. Is it? Viewers flock to their favourite streamer's channel, yeah you do, to either judge a game for themselves, to get some tips for entertainment, or just to live vicariously through said streamer. Let's not forget that people like PewDiePie, Shroud, and Dr. Disrespect are real-life celebrities thanks to their millions of followers. It seems that Sony aims to capitalise on the following of these popular streamers by patenting a technology that would prompt players to directly start a game on PlayStation via the stream. As pointed out by Game Rant, the game would have certain trigger points where interactive elements would come into play. Users would then be able to take part in the streamed experience by having the game launch at these trigger points, thus increasing interactivity between the streamer, the game, and the viewership. Of course, this patent doesn't mean that we'll be seeing this technology anytime soon, if at all. However, there does seem to be a running theme to Sony's recent patents. They all point towards boosting interactivity between players themselves as well as various games. For instance, the like button patent acts as a trigger for tailored ads from third parties, as well as a way to build a personalised recommendation system for the type of games you'd like. The registered expert patent lets you take the help of a certified expert for a particular game via a chat feature. This is a sure-shot way of boosting inter-player interaction. Lastly, the personal assistant AI patent mentions a technology that could learn a player's in-game behaviour and decision-making. Since the AI is linked to player profiles, someone having difficulty in a particular section of the game could possibly download that AI and have the problem solved for them. This last one is still just a theory, but once again, we see the interaction between players as well as the system itself. So Sony has a new technology that will launch a video game from the stream. So if you sat watching Bibby playing Resident Evil Village and you think, oof, best Resident Evil game that I've ever seen in my lifetime, I want to launch that bad boy, then just do it at the press of a button, take you straight into the store, I'd imagine, into the game if you've got it installed. I don't know. It's a bit interesting. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, some sort of Black Mirror shit, this, innit? Having the game kind of being played for you down. I mean, that last theory was a bit wild. Downloading an AI that based off of your characteristics of how you usually play games or how you played the game up until that bit, you can download the AI to get past that part for you. You're not watching a film at that point.
I mean, if it's downloading an AI that's based off of my characteristics, then that's going to be the crappiest AI that you've ever seen. It's like, do I go towards the goal or do I just go look in that corner? Because you never know, there might be something shiny over there. Let's look in this vase. Is there anything in there? Oh, there's a bench. Can you climb on that? Oh, there's a vase there that you can knock over. Smashed. There's something that if I run towards the edge, I can push it off the edge and it just falls off the edge of the map. Why? Because I can. Does it do anything? No. Is it useful for the game? No. Is that just the kind of thing that I do all the time? Yes. Actually, one thing I didn't mention, Mafia. Anyone that's played Mafia, there are light switches in the apartments that you can turn on and off. They don't do anything. They just allow you to turn them on and off. Guess who turns them on and off every time I enter my buildings in Mafia? Me. So yeah, my AI is just going to be stood there going, literally, Graham's AI is... For anyone listening or watching on demand, I'm tinkering with my light switches. There you go. Nice.
I'll say I thought I was just expecting you to say, "Fuck's sake, stream's gone down again."
Nope, I was just being a dick.
Yeah.
So yeah. Would you launch a game from watching a stream, babe?
Yes, actually, because a lot of the times the streamers that I do end up watching influence me playing the game because I probably would already have the game. So, for instance, from watching someone play Resident Evil Village, I've already got it. I'm playing it at the same time. If I'm watching someone play PES, I'll probably boot up the game myself because it's the FOMO. Do you know what I mean? Like they're having a good time, I want to have a good time. I'm going to boot the game up. So essentially, I'm already in there. So I'm a customer that probably won't have it. But I mean, if there's a game that you potentially not seen, like there's a lot of people that have been watching our State of Decay stuff that probably wouldn't have even looked give it a second glance on the Games Pass stuff, but they're coming to that screen, they're like, this looks fucking sick. And then what can they do? Boom, press the launch game, it starts to download, they're watching us at the same time, they can jump in, they're watching our streams, then they're jumping into our games at the same time. So it's kind of it's a video game journey, and I think it is probably a good thing. Will it get used that often? Probably not. I imagine it will already entice the people who've already got the game to boot it up at the same time. But yeah, it's just another piece of technology. Whether or not it's wasted or not remains to be seen.
Chucky says Graham's AI just dropping weapons in inaccessible spots. Fuck you. For anyone that hasn't seen myself
So good.
and Bib playing State of Decay, I have an incredible skill, which Pirate clipped. So I'm going to share the clip in the chat for you. My incredible skill of just dropping weapons underneath the stash so they cannot be retrieved unless you're a ninja. And I'm not a ninja, so I just keep dropping weapons in places where I can't get them again. So shout out to Pirate for clipping that. Thank you very much. Fuck you. Asim says, this will make influencer work easier in terms of KPI/ROI. One for Graham and Bibby. Exactly. I mean, for people that work in the video games industry in terms of content sponsorship and placement, one thing that you often can't track, just like with a TV advert, is click through. Unless you have a specific URL that someone can click on that can take them through to fruition, then yeah, you can't really see how much goes through to sale. And let me break that down a little bit further if you don't know what I mean. So say if I've just sponsored Bibby to play Resident Evil Village, if I want Bibby to push people towards the PlayStation Store because that's where all people play Resident Evil or whatever that my needs are as a brand. I give Bibby a specific link that takes them to the PlayStationStore.com/Resident Evil Village. So people can go to that game screen. I don't own that store, so I can't see how many downloads the game's got. I can't see how many downloads specifically that Bibby has impacted. I can see how many people have clicked his link, but I can't see how many people downloaded. So I assume that based on averages, say PlayStation Store has a 10% purchase average. For people that land on a product page, 10% go through. So if Bibby has 100 clicks I know that 10 people have bought that game on average because 100 people have clicked through, 10% purchase, job's done. Still averages, you kind of finger in the wind. It might be 7 people, it might be 20 people. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Obviously, you can, after the time, you can look at stats and kind of get a little bit more of a clearer picture, but not so much. Whereas that, being able to launch a game directly from a stream could offer marketers a little bit more in-depth information as to which streamers actually have positive influences on your game. And I say that from, a lot of influencer marketing is done with, all influencer marketing should be done with intelligence. You should see who you are marketing. You should have reasons for marketing with specific channels. That should all kind of stand. Sometimes those risks, sometimes those choices are risks. Sometimes they're kind of nailed on. Sometimes you will spend a shitload of money on someone that is a nailed on win and it doesn't work. Sometimes you'll spend no money on someone that's just a bit of a chance and they absolutely shit transactions and stuff. There's a lot of guesswork and there's a lot of back and forth and so on. This would really, really help with that. So from an influencer world, yeah, it's wonderful. From a content side of things, I really like this. Like Bibby mentioned, State of Decay before I started spamming crossbow stuff in the chat. Would I play State of Decay? Let me rewind a little bit. Let's go back a couple of months. I'm not a couple of months, about a month, 3-4 weeks ish. Talking to Bibby saying, looking for a new game. I'm not playing PUBG at the moment. There's no season pass. So let's look at doing something else to stream. What kind of angle should we go down? We want to play the day before when it comes. So how can we get ourselves into that mindset? So we started talking about games, DayZ, State of Decay, and so on. And State of Decay is, I was saying to Bibby, it's a few years old. Is there really a community there for it? I mean, a lot of people like it, but there's not thousands of people watching it, despite the fact that there's a lot of ongoing content and stuff. Is it a dead game? And so that on its own is me picture bill of being a meh user. What do I think about it? Meh. Do I have any real reason for thinking it's meh? No, just because I don't have any real reasons for knowing it's still exceptional. I think it's now meh. But if I then sit there and watch Bibby stream this game, which is effectively what I did, but it was what it was. That's exactly what happened. It was Bibby streaming this game. So I looked around, tried to find a few streams, and I did see a few people streaming it. I was chatting to Bibby on Discord at that point in time and saying, okay, the game looks okay. I'm not really getting the vibe from the streamers that are playing it. I'm not sure if it's my kind of thing. Obviously, it's the same thing with anything. You could see a game that you absolutely adore, but if a streamer that you just don't click with is playing that game could look horrendous to you. It could, or maybe just not something you're interested in. That was kind of what I got. I wasn't interested, so I just clicked off it. However, when I saw Bibby playing it one Friday afternoon, and I was like, okay, this actually looks pretty decent. This, I think I'm going to get this. At that point in time, I could have just gone click on the stream, got that game downloaded, and had it installed, and been good to go. So we all know influencer marketing and content creators are really good for marketing for people that want to spend money, but forget the money side of things. It's really good for people that just want gameplay experiences. If I'm sat there looking for something new to play, like I didn't want to play PUBG at that point in time. I wanted something different. State of Decay gave me that. It scratched that itch. And seeing Bibby playing that at that point in time, to go from like moment of epiphany to moment of installation just by one click, that's wonderful. That is exceptional stuff.
You think that they'll be able to monetize it though? So,
Absolutely.
for instance, someone could be watching our streams of State of Decay, and then they go to press that button. They would then know that they've been watching it on our stream, and then we might, I don't know, become a State of Decay. I mean, I'm using State of Decay as the example because that's the most recent thing that we started to play together away from Resident Evil, obviously. But would they be able to monetize that for us? Would we become State of Decay influencers then? They know that if there was to, I don't know, want to show the game off, we'd be the guys to be able to do that. Like, this is all hypothetical, but it's like having an affiliate link to Amazon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people on Twitch have their gear as a panel underneath. Sorry, I'm sorry if my face keeps going different colors. My screen is having a fit. I've just had to order a new HDMI switcher because I think this one's on its. I can see exposed wires coming out of it, so it just keeps on flicking on and off. But they have the Twitch panels, and then they'll have their, I don't know, whatever graphics card they use and mouse and stuff like that. But they'll have Amazon links that send them over, and then if someone buys it, they'll get a kickback from it. Do you reckon that they could do that kind of thing with this? Do you reckon it'll work?
Yes. How that runs, though, I'm not 100% sure. In terms of buying it from PlayStation, how do we get our kickback from PlayStation? Do we link our Ice Cream Uploads accounts on Twitch to PlayStation? So there's all sort of links there as how do they know that us as streamers have pushed people towards PlayStation whereas our stream isn't directly linked in. So there would need to be a bridge cross there. The other way that that's kind of done is that it's done through the games themselves. So it's not necessarily a streamer offering, it's more of a brand offering. So maybe we connect to, I don't know actually. I'm thinking like, so say if Resident Evil, they're the ones that have Village on stream and people have watched streams and downloaded it from that way, Resident Evil get paid for it that way. Does that then give them the money to invest into content creators and stuff? But then there's another step in the loop. I mean, there's definitely ways for it to be monetized. It's just the direction, the end game. Where does that money go to? Because if it's launched via streams, ideally you would be paying the content creators for that. But then you either have to be streaming on PlayStation, so like people can stream on the PlayStation network. Is that where it's going to work? Will it work from external streams? Will it work on Twitch and YouTube and DLive and Trovo and wherever, Caffeine, Facebook Gaming, or will it just be the people that stream on the PlayStation Network? Because if it's on the PlayStation Network, then there is ways to monetize their revenues because I'm streaming on the PlayStation Network with my account directly, so I could get money for it. But yeah, it depends on how they run it though. Comment in the chat though that Jordan has mentioned is one that was in my mind as well, is that it's basically what Stadia offered with YouTube. It was, I mean, YouTube offered like a number of different things. So say if you were watching either a gameplay video or maybe you wanted help getting past certain points and so on. I know PlayStation has some help stuff involved in their games now. So they have the example they used was like a Little Big Planet kind of thing where you can, if you're stuck on a point, you can press one of the little tiles in the game and it'll show you how to find stuff or how to get past things and so on. Well, Stadia had a number of that sort of stuff. So this is one of the few things that Stadia was pretty cool on. Because Stadia was from Google. Google is online and is the internet and has all of the resources of YouTube and things like that. They were trying to link that into Stadia, which was one of the smartest plays that they could have done. And off the back of that, it rather than being Stadia links into YouTube, it was YouTube links into Stadia. So if you're watching a video on YouTube and you like the look of this Resident Evil Village playthrough that Bibby's doing, nice click, take you through to Stadia where you can get this game and play. Nice. The only difference is that PlayStation is a successful platform. Shade.
Yeah.
But no, it's good though. It's very good. I mean, look at Chucky's comment there. I would never have known about State of Decay unless I watched your stream on it. Exactly. And that's kind of cool in terms of monetization or not. Content creators can get more of how can I. There's a marketing term called longer tail. What's the word? Longer tail. What's the word? Conversion. That's it. Longer tail conversion. So I could see something on Bibby's stream, think, oh, that's pretty cool, and then go off and install it. But because I've seen Bibby streaming it and then gone off and installed it, there's nothing that tracks that. So it just becomes part of the longer tail. People tomorrow, the day after, go and install it. But it gets lost into the longer tail. You don't know where it comes from. You would attribute it to the overall marketing period. Whereas if I could just click straight on Bibby's stream and go, boom, install, nice. So it helps content creators, it helps brands, it can be monetized, but it can also just be great for community interaction. So I like this idea. And it absolutely sounds like the future.
agree.
When I say sounds like the future, I don't mean like DeLoreans flying around in 1985 and 2015 or whatever, but I mean the future of this sounds like tomorrow's editions that just make it easier to go from browser to console, from stream to gameplay, which is a nice logical step. So let's see it, Sony. We'll have that one. Thank you very much. Nice. Anyway, keep talking about Resident Evil Village. And we keep talking about Bibby's stream, which leads nicely into the next story. We're talking about profits and revenues. Well, Bibby single-handedly has helped Capcom to a record year of profits, as Capcom has reported record profits driven by Monster Hunter and Bibby playing Resident Evil. There you go. Facts. It might not say that entirely in the title, but that's kind of what it is. Anyway, Andy Robinson at VGC says Japanese firm predicts further growth in the next year, helped by Resident Evil Village, and in brackets, which isn't there, and Bibby's playthrough. Capcom has announced record profits in its latest annual financial results, driven by sales of new games such as Monster Hunter Rise and catalogue sales of Resident Evil and Monster Hunter World. For the 12 months ended March 31st, 2021, net sales were up 17% year on year, operating income up 51.6% at 34.6 billion yen, which is $317 million, and ordinary income up 52% at $321 million. The figures represent the 8th consecutive year of operating income growth for Capcom and the 4th consecutive year of record high profits. Monster Hunter Rise for Nintendo Switch delivered strong sales of over 4 million units shipped worldwide by March the 31st. Capcom said it had shipped 5 million by April the 5th. Meanwhile, catalogue titles demonstrated their long product lives and drove up profits, including Monster Hunter World Iceborne and Resident Evil 2. Capcom said Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition performed well on next-generation platforms. Moving forward, Capcom expects even more growth during its current fiscal year, ending March 31st, 2022, with sales forecast to be up 5%, driven by sales of Monster Hunter Rise and Resident Evil Village. The company said it's working to increase its development personnel and expand its pipeline of games by both utilizing existing IP and creating new properties. The publisher announced its first new IP in 8 years, Pragmata, last summer. Following the release of Rise in March, Capcom stock soared to an all-time high in Tokyo. The publisher's latest tentpole release, Resident Evil Village, released this month, and Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin is coming to Switch on July the 9th. Resident Evil Village enjoyed a strong debut on PC and consoles this weekend, where Bibby played it. Nice, end of article. Boom. So, Capcom doing pretty well. 8 years of profits, 4 years of record high profits, year by year by year. All I'm going to say is, in the last 4 years, Capcom went from having no Bibby content on Ice Cream Uploads to having regular content from Bibby on Ice Cream Uploads playing Resident Evil, and they've got record high profits. That's all I'm saying. That just a fact that I'm pointing out. I'm not saying it's cause and effect, but it's absolutely cause and effect. Bib, what are your thoughts?
Does that mean that we're an influencer now?
Well, you're a Resident Evil. You are Mr. Resident Evil, the resident.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is massive news for Capcom because I know the biggest game that I consider, obviously coming from Capcom in my eyes, is Resident Evil. That's because I have the fascination with the product. But obviously, they have things like Devil May Cry, they have things like Street Fighter, they have things like Monster Hunter. So all of these games are having a fantastic upcycle. Like the trajectory of these games is going up and up. I'd never played a Monster Hunter game until maybe last year or the year before, and it's not my kind of game. But it's absolutely Monster Hunter eclipses Resident Evil in terms of sales, and its history, and it's a beast that can't be tamed. No pun intended. But Capcom are just releasing, regardless of what I think of Resident Evil 8. Capcom are releasing banger after banger after banger, and the more people are playing these products, more people are playing these games, more people are getting into franchises for the first time. This is massive for Capcom. Again, regardless of what game it is that's coming out, using Resident Evil as the basis, the last 4 Resident Evil games, again, take it, even including Resident Evil Village, not just for my personal taste, but the reviews that it's getting, the concurrent people are playing this on Steam, breaking all of its previous records. this is massive for Capcom, and I'm so happy because for the longest time it seems like they was falling into a void, and people just didn't care about them anymore because of the kind of quality of games that they were bringing out. But now it's like they've got people. I know this is something completely different to Stadia, but this is kind of the same thing. Put people in the right places, and things will happen. That's exactly what's happened with Capcom. They've got the right people creating the right games at the right time. It's storming a teacup kind of thing, and hopefully this will continue because a world without Capcom and decent to high quality games coming out, it's a completely different world out there.
I may have just been trying to follow Johnny PSM on Twitch, and I've just done that. So if you heard some music in the background, apologies. But no, I agree. It's good to see. Capcom seemed like, I mean, we're talking about profits year on year on year, 8 years in a row, record profits over the last 4 years. You go back 10 years, and Capcom seemed like another one of those fall from grace kind of brands, which it didn't feel like it deserved it. It just felt like it was a victim of not its own failures, but it didn't have its level of success. And because it wasn't absolutely smashing Street Fighters, and it wasn't absolutely smashing Resident Evil anymore, and Street Fighter had kind of been and gone. Not that it ever left, but I'm just talking about the mainstream. Obviously, the FGC will probably be fucking Hadoukening their way at me right now for saying that. But Street Fighter kind of dropped off, as did Resident Evil and kind of everything else a little bit. So it's good to see Capcom go, okay, we need to stop, take stock. How can we build for the future? And yeah, they've made some directional changes, some for the better, some for the worse over the last few years, but definitely by using the strength of their back catalogue. I mean, we live in a world of remakes. We're always going to be in that kind of world right now. But just because you have the facility to remake something doesn't mean it's going to be great. And we've seen that so many times. But what Resident Evil have done is they've gone, okay, we're going to remake key Resident Evil games now, and we're gonna start again. We're gonna do it with the video games. Okay, the video games, that's absolutely fucking worked well for us. Let's start and doing it with the films, and all of a sudden, Capcom went from being like, they used to make good games, didn't they? I remember playing Capcom games to, okay, I'm watching a Capcom film whilst playing a Capcom game while eating Capcom cereal, and I'm gonna drink my Capcom milkshake at the same time because there's so much stuff going on, and it's good to see them take that level of initiative. Because one of my favourite games when I was 5-6 years old, David, I don't know if David's in the chat, but he'll be able to tell you how many hours we spent playing Street Fighter 2 on the SNES. Fucking love that game. I mean, I'm not so much in fighting games anymore, but because of that, Ryu and Ken, by the way, or Ryu and Ken, by the way, class characters, although it's always Ryu for me. I know it's not Ryu, but it is Ryu. Yeah, seeing the company behind that progress and reshape themselves and be something that's not only another brand to be reckoned with, but it's a brand that's making record profits 4 years in a row in a time when we're in a pandemic as well. GG's. SNES and Kevin's Amiga. There you go. Yeah, it's good to see. But let's jump into our final article. We don't need to spend too much time on that. You get the idea. Capcom are having a good time of it, even though Village might be a hit and miss for some people from what we can see on the surface. If you do want to see that, just a reminder again that Bibby did play through the whole game, so we will have that available. We do have that available on the VODs, and you will be able to see it on YouTube sometime soon. Nice. Anyway, speaking about things that were a part of my childhood, things that you love to see, and this absolutely is something that I love to see. I played Call of Duty Warzone for the first time last week in about 6 or 7 months. I was incredibly crap and then got a little bit better. It was nice. And I think I'm kind of on that precipice. Do I fall back and leave it alone because I'm not quite good anymore because I haven't played it for so long? Or do I go forward and go over the other side and lean into it and get good at Call of Duty Warzone? Because it's definitely a good game. But it's a change of pace. I'm not 100% on it. I'd still prefer PUBG to Warzone, which I actually played my first game of PUBG and won it the other day. That's all I'm saying as well. Take this guy away for 3 weeks, comes back, instant chicken dinner, pow! But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Warzone. I just need something to push me over the edge of the precipice, something to get me fully interested in Call of Duty Warzone. I think this could be it. What is this? I hear you say. Well, if I was to say the words, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! You might have an idea. As 80s action heroes Rambo and John McClane are coming to Call of Duty. This is so cool. This is so cool. Movie skins tie in with Warzone's new 1984 Verdansk map. Call of Duty Warzone is set to introduce skins for 80s action heroes such as Rambo and Christmas favourite John McClane. Doesn't say Christmas favourite, but it's number one Christmas movie. I don't care if you don't call it a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie. Shut your mouth. The skins will arrive later this season and tie in with Warzone's new 1984 Verdansk map, which went live last month. Publisher Activision started hinting at movie collaborations this week with cryptic tweets and a website for the fictional company Nakatomi Duct Cleaning. Nakatomi is the corporation featured in the Die Hard movies. VGC understands there is more to come, and when we spoke to developer Raven Software last month, it hinted as much. Quote, I'd like to point out that in the slides we showed you earlier, there was a little classified section for 80s action. There's some cool stuff we've got planned for the 80s, so feel free to speculate on that, creative director Amos Hodge said in our Call of Duty Warzone interview. The latest Black Ops Cold War and Warzone updates have introduced a new weapon. Okay, we don't need to know about the new weapon, but we can look at this. This is the tweet. Air ducts are a complicated network of danger. If yours are in need of repair, call the best in the business at Nakatomi Duct Cleaning. Learn more here. NakatomiDuctCleaning.com. Say yippee-ki-yay to Dust, a Nakatomi Corp division mastering AC duct cleaning since 1988. Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely cosmetic. Vanity doesn't change anything in the game, but it gets me excited. Anyway, babe, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
This is dumb. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Because you can't see your fucking character.
That's a good point.
This isn't for you. It's not like Fortnite where you can like see the back of its head or something like that, and you can see the body shape, and it's pretty cool. But in Warzone, you don't see your character like at all, apart from when he's jumping out of the plane.
You clearly don't sneak up behind people and do the stealth kills. You get to see your character for a full 3 seconds then, actually. So, yeah.
Sorry. Like, even when you're getting dragged into the gulag, it's in first person. What is the point? Like, this is so fucking dumb. This is the easiest money that Call of Duty could ever make. We'll sell something that you can see for 3 seconds if you get a stealth kill on someone. This is so fucking dumb. People will buy this. It's so weird.
My window cleaner's here, so if you can hear noises in the background, it's my window cleaner. Hi!
I shit myself like 15 minutes ago because mine was it. Is it the same guy?
Me and Baby do live in the same house. I'm downstairs, he's upstairs.
But yeah, this for me is very dumb. Like the Fortnite one I can understand because you can see your character all of the time. Maybe not the front necessarily, but you can see your character all of the time. This just feels weird.
Trying to make this fit. Is it going to fit? Yeah, it looks a bit odd because COD is COD with a lowercase o, but it kind of fits. You get what I'm saying. No, I agree. It's the same thing like PUBG. A lot of people that play PUBG on stream play first-person perspective. I play third-person just because that's the mode that's fully supported on consoles and has been since day one, but PC's always had a large FPP perspective. I love the idea of playing it FPP, but yeah, it kind of is what it is. So PUBG you can understand with some skin tie-ins. That said, they haven't really had any major tie-ins since Harley Quinn and the Joker were put in for Suicide Squad a couple of years ago. All their skins there are just other cosmetics and vanity stuff that you will get in the likes of Call of Duty and things already. So yeah, this is absolutely 100% a menu offering / for people that play with other people. So it's an Instagram offering. That's what it is. Instagram. It's not about when you post a picture of your breakfast. It's not about you. It's about other people seeing your breakfast. The fact that you can show off your breakfast, and that's what this is. Get John McClane and Rambo in there. It's to show it off. But then again, that's pretty much why I got Kylo Ren, just to show Kylo Ren off to other people. I mean, I can see it, which is nice, but it's just about fuck yeah. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren strolling around with his lightsaber in his hand. Not like that. Easy tiger. Calm down.
It's like using Ethan Winters. His face isn't in the game. Like you don't at no point in the game do you see Ethan Winters in Resident Evil. It's exactly the same as that. What's the point?
Enix says I love running around in my saw skin. You can get some cream for that, mate, if you got sore skin. Whee! A lot of people say that Sly Stallone is a bad actor, but he can't be as bad as Ethan from Resi Village. Someone mentioned that the other day while you were streaming. He was like, he deserves to die, kind of thing. If he does die,
It's probably Gary.
He deserves to die. Get rid of him. Get him out of the game because he's actor's pants. But Asim says that's why I don't
Samantha's
really.
just dropped something. It's scared the living shit out of her.
She just dropped one.
Yeah.
Live on stream, nice. Asim says I don't really care about my skin. No, I agree. I can't even tell you what my skin is. Actually, I can tell it's some military dude. There you go, nailed it. Yeah, there you go. From one of the 10,000 military dudes that there is on the game. I would remember it if I had Rambo and or John McClane. The only thing that will put me off is like I love this idea. I love the idea of running around with John McClane because John McClane is one of the best fucking characters that's ever been in film or TV. Fact. Same with Rambo. Love the Rambo films. Stallone, those 80s sort of films. I mean, I was looking at the posters and things for the wall to put behind me, and Rambo and or John McClane was in the mix of things that I was looking for, having mixed in with other things. So that's kind of how nice, influential they are to me. But yeah. I don't know. It depends on benchmarking where this sits. If the season pass is say 1,000 COD coins or points or whatever it calls, and this comes in at 2,500, yeah, I don't think so. But I love the wider meaning. Okay, yeah, there are problems here. PUBG has third person. Fortnite has third person. This is all first person, so it's purely for other people or when you're in the menu screens and stuff like that. It's kind of a lost meaning. It's putting things in the game purely as a revenue earner. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. But these coming into the game and allow people to purchase the skins and things like that means that other people can amortize your gameplay. You don't have to spend on DLC map pack downloads and stuff that we had in the past. So this is kind of the future. Yep. Maybe it's a bit disconnected because it's first person. You can't really see it, but this is kind of the future. And I think speaking wider, it's a good sign to see films and video games crossing over once again. I mean, we've had this conversation so many times. About 10 years ago, video games tried to be friends with film. Whenever there was a film, it would butcher a video game because the video games company could go, okay, I know we've spent 10 years building up this character and it's got really good lore, and you want to just make it really shit for a 90-minute film. Okay, yeah, go on, you're Hollywood, you can do what you want, you can say what you want, but it's now nice to see it going the other way. See films clamoring to get into video games. We've seen The Predator. We've seen Rambo. We've seen Rambo again. We've seen John McClane. We've seen fucking everything in Fortnite. So it's nice to see films once again leaning back into video games. So, yeah, kind of questionable in terms of first person, third person decision making, but in terms of the industry as a whole, nice. Soon we'll get the Power Ranger skins in PUBG and fucking life can continue. Yeah, boy. Rambo First Blood is one of the best movies ever made. I wholeheartedly agree. I absolutely adore that film. Rambo First Blood and Rambo 2 as well. They drop off a bit after that, but yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely love that film. That actually wasn't me that said that. I wish it was. There you go. It might have been Spike. Spike was in on Saturday morning as well, so it could have been Spike. Yeah. But there you go. That's it. Let's wrap things up there. Thank you everyone for joining us for yet another episode of The Scoop. Just to give you a quick reminder of the news of the day. Obviously, we've just had the story then, which is the one on the screen, is that Rambo and John McClane are coming to COD. So if you're enjoying COD and you want something to spice it up a little bit, maybe not for yourself, but for the other people that you're playing with, then you can run around as John McClane and Rambo. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Other stories of the day. The Epic Games Store spent $200 million, or at least it would have done, on 6 games from Sony to get them on PC. Don't know if it happened. Doesn't look like it did. But you know, that's something that's leaked out of the Apple versus Epic court case. Sony elsewhere has patented a technology that launches games via streams. Capcom has recorded record profits driven by Monster Hunter and Bibby streams of Resident Evil. And as we just said there, obviously, John McClane, Rambo. Nice. That's the news for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are going to drop off now. We will jump back on with an hour and a half, 2 hours-ish of some State of Decay. Nice, nice. Give us a little bit of time to get things set for that, though. So if you want to see some gameplay, maybe you want to play some State of Decay. If you've got an Xbox or a PC with a copy of the game, then you can jump in because it's cross-play and it's fucking exceptional. You can join us as we leave weapons in all sorts of precarious places where you can't pick them up. Fuck. But before we do all that, Bib, is there anything you'd like to add as I smash my mouth into the microphone?
Again, thank you very much for joining us for today, first stream of the week. But if you do want to get involved with the show, there is 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream World across all major social media platforms. Also, if you want to help shape our show, then get involved with our Discord. If you are watching this on any kind of VOD, or listen to it on audio, go into the description. All the links that you need is there. But all we need from you is the links plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
It's got to be at 10 a.m. Ish. At 10 a.m. ish. Just a quick reminder as well as the 10 a.m.'s slots booked in this week, we do have a 6 p.m. slot. So Wednesday evening, should I say. If you aren't doing anything, then join us on Official Insert Coin. You'll be able to see us playing a game. Speaking of which, we don't know what game that's going to be. We were thinking of like It Takes Two, but that's not an EA Play, and it costs money and stuff like that. So, I mean, what do you recommend? Do let us know. Feel free to tweet us at Ice Cream Uploads with any recommendations of games that you would like to see me and Bibby play. We also thought about State of Decay, but because we're into that building upload here, it seems a bit odd to uproot it and drop it onto IC. And 2 hours isn't really 2 to 3 hours-ish, depending on how long we play it for, isn't really the enough time to build something with State of Decay. So we decided, to put a pin in that. But if you've got any suggestions of games that you would like us to play, feel free to tweet us at Ice Cream Uploads on Twitter. Nice, that's it. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you shortly with some State of Decay playthrough. Until then, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.